Good morning, YouTube. I just wanted to take a minute to talk about a few things that have been going on here recently. I got all prepped to go surfing this morning and I'm not sure that's gonna happen. So I wanted to touch on some topics around discipline and consistency because it's something that I see repeatedly in life. I see it in my dietary choices. I see it in work. As an entrepreneur in building different businesses, especially in working from home or working remotely, which I know so many of us are doing who are new to that right now. And then even in trying to learn new things, like learning to surf. So if you're not already subscribed, please join us. We talk about literally anything and everything here. I don't want any topics to be off the table. And I don't want you to feel like any topic is taboo and you can't talk about it. So I am in a new location today. I am at my dad's and there might be more things going on. I tried to find a quiet spot. Usually I shoot outside here, but there's also some yard work or construction or something going on outside today. I don't know. So here we are. Discipline and consistency. The other thing I want to mention, and we're really not going to touch on nutrition or medical topics today, I don't think, but I'm not a Western medicine doctor, nutritionist, dietitian, any kind of standard Western medicine practitioner. Not one of those. I'm sort of sharing my experience, and I do have a certification from ECornell in plant-based nutrition, but essentially that's it. I am a busy entrepreneur. That's what I do for a living, primarily. So discipline is the first thing I want to talk about. It actually brings freedom. People don't seem to realize that. If you want to live a more free life, you're going to have to be disciplined in the things that you need to do to reach the goals that are involved in that free life and what that life looks like for you. So if you haven't spent some time thinking about that already, try some visualization, try journaling, try writing down what exactly it will look like when you're even at a point where you want to be. What does that look like? Because if you haven't considered that, you might be working, and then you get there and it's not what you wanted or not what you expected. And then it's not even serving you. So it sort of feels self-defeating when that happens. And I've done it, I've been there. When you've kind of lost your intentions amongst the work and achieved a goal that isn't actually doing anything for you for what your true intentions were with that goal, what value that goal carried for you. If it's not bringing that value, then it doesn't really matter if you achieve it, right? So definitely spend some time getting clear on that. But discipline, you have to. Your word is all you have. You have to do what you say you're going to do. And that doesn't mean that there isn't any flexibility in it. Also, that doesn't mean it's not fun. If you're not enjoying working towards a goal, then for lack of better wording, you're kind of doing it wrong. You should be choosing goals that you feel passionate about. And you should be working towards those goals in ways that give you enough flexibility to still enjoy life. Because the journey itself is so much more than just that moment of achievement. And then the sustainability of that achievement later on, depending on what it is. Like if you're trying to achieve financial freedom, once you're there, you need to have the skill set to be able to stay there. And so that journey of getting there is part of building that skill set. So those two things really go hand in hand. But for example, for me today, I was planning on going surfing. I got all prepped to go. I'm still going to go over to the beach today. There are other things that I need to do over there, had scheduled, want to do over there anyways. Seeing the beach is always nice. I have to return my rental board today. I'm having trouble finding a 7 or 8 foot board to buy, which I'm sure if anybody else is exploring the surfing world right now, you have run into this issue. So I have to return that. I am meeting with someone and that's a little bit of a surprise. So I will save that for another video. But at the same time, I've actually been in the sun so much that I'm not looking to, I appreciate getting enough vitamin D, but I'm not looking to like completely damage my skin. So I don't really want to be out in the sun a ton today if I'm not actually getting to surf. And the surf is a little bit bigger than what I'm used to, so there's that, but it's also choppier because we thought a nice swell was coming in this weekend, but really the storm is coming too close to shore, and so it's turning into more of a choppy situation, whereas if it were farther away from shore, it might be a nicer, more even swell. So all of that to say, I am here shooting this video now. I am doing some invoices this morning for my main business. I might even go for a run depending on whether I feel like I want a run today or a walk on the beach before I have my meeting and return my surfboard to the rental place. I could just keep my surfboard, but I have concluded after having the rental for a week with where I'm currently at, which is about an hour from the beach, it makes more sense for me at this point to rent it on a given day when I need it. I wanted to avoid having to go into a store unnecessarily, but especially with the sciatic issue that I had this past week, and just when work gets busy, I didn't actually make it over there as often as what I would have preferred with a week-long board rental. So that's another thing that you have to be open to having a learning curve in this process. So if you do something and it's not working out the way that you expected or the way that you wanted, you need to be able to adjust and do something differently. If you keep doing that same thing, you're going to get that result. It's also very similar. So in that concept though, I'm still getting things done this morning that were on my list of priorities. It's just maybe a slightly different structure. It involves slightly different priorities than what I had previously scheduled, but it's still my top priorities working towards the same goals. So just because I need some flexibility in my discipline doesn't mean I don't have the discipline to go do the other thing that I can do at that time. This also is something that can come up in diet. And so for example, I've been trying to get more sprouted lentils into my diet. For various reasons. I can talk more about that in another video. I have touched on it in a previous video. But sometimes I often do things like smoothies, like what I made today. If you follow me on Instagram, I've got like a citrus-based kind of sprouted lentil smoothie today in my Hydro Flask, ready to go to the beach, and I got some left over in the fridge. I love Hydro Flask. If you guys haven't tried this out, this thing has been like dropped so much and like actually melted a little bit in the dishwasher and stuff like that, and it just goes on and on. It's great. So yeah, so yesterday I didn't really feel like having a smoothie. I didn't bother prepping a smoothie. I did go try to surf yesterday and it was super choppy yesterday. So I hadn't prepped a smoothie. I just brought like some snacks to the beach, and when I got back, I really wanted something more savory. So I had made a sprouted lentil hummus that was kind of more of like a chipotle flavor and made more of like a raw vegan burrito kind of thing. And that's how I got my sprouted lentils in yesterday. So there's flexibility in how I'm doing that. It's not that I have to have the same meal every day. It's perhaps a different story if I'm having a flare-up or if there's something that I am recovering from in some way, which other people who have any kind of chronic or autoimmune type conditions, I know you can relate to this because you sort of have your go-to things, and it gets very boring very quickly, but it works. So no complaints about that, no medication. So the other thing that I think is very in line with this discussion is consistency. If you are changing your strategy too often, if you are not being consistent with your strategy and in your commitment and willingness to actually do what you've committed to every single day, if you are doing things like that, it's going to be really hard to tell if your strategy in whatever area it is, if it's in weight loss, if it's in healing acne, if it's in healing Crohn's or ulcerative colitis, if it's in business. I mean, my first business is actually a small internet marketing company. whatever your strategy is in, if you have changed your strategy too often, or if you're not committed to doing the tasks that are involved in that strategy consistently, then you won't know if it's working. The other part of that, though, that is possibly even worse is that, because it's pretty common to have to tweak your strategy a little bit, right? And especially if you're, for example, using a specific diet and you're traveling and the availability of certain foods has changed, or the prices of certain foods have changed, or the seasons are changing, and you don't have access to the same things, you're going to have to adjust it from time to time. And if you have changed things too often, or if you haven't consistently done literally anything, or if the thing that you're thinking about changing isn't something that you've done consistently for a longer period of time, you don't know if that particular piece of the strategy was working or not. It could be helping, hurting, or entirely neutral, which also brings up all of these extra like superfoods and extra powders and stuff. And I use some of these things, but I use them selectively, and part of that is due to different, you know, not being as regulated and not knowing for sure what's in some of those things. So again, a separate video, but if you don't know if that thing is helping, hurting, or neutral, then you don't know if it's even worth spending your money on that thing. So it's really important to be consistent to figure these things out. I see it all the time in marketing, clients, and I'm guilty of this myself, like wanting to figure something out and wanting it to work so badly, and then just essentially wanting to change something about whatever your strategy is on like a daily basis. And I'm all about pivoting quickly, but you know, that might be a little too quickly. And then in terms of acne, for example, I think many of you guys have seen my video with Jack about acne and the issues that I had with it a few years ago and how I recovered from that. I'll link it below if I can, because I'm learning here. I think I might be able to put it like somewhere up here as a recommended video. But yeah, it's something that I experienced pretty badly. That I didn't have bad acne as a teenager. It was something that happened sort of maybe around 28, 29, as I was getting really close to 30. I think my hormones had started shifting. I was under a lot of stress at the time. And I had changed kind of everything all at once. I had changed all of my skincare routine, not just one part. And I had changed sort of everything about my diet, and I had gone more in the raw direction in a very committed and specific way. But I wound up stumbling across a lot of foods that I sort of seemed to have a threshold for, especially when under periods of stress, which I was. So when I'm stressed, that threshold drops. And foods that I just hadn't had much of before. I actually didn't like tomatoes much before. And then suddenly I was eating a ton of them. Things like mushrooms, seaweed. I was eating so much of, and all kinds of extra dried spices and stuff that I didn't know whether that or whether my skincare routine changes. I didn't know which part was causing the acne because I sort of changed everything all at once. And then on top of that, I kept changing things constantly because I was just panicking trying to figure it out. So really what helped me was stepping back from a lot of things, elimination diet, getting down to some basics with my skincare routine, and then moving forward from there. So that's a big reason why I'm all about slow transitions and being mindful of your consistency and just not changing too many things at once or too often. So I think that about sums things up. There's a cuckoo clock here at my dad's and it sounds like it's about to go off again, so we're gonna end the video. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. I'd love to answer any of those or have any further discussions about any topics you'd like. Nothing is off the table here. Also, I'll leave my email in the description below. You can email me if you'd like a little more privacy, and there will be information about my Instagram below. You can follow me over there. And I post there more so daily. YouTube is more of a weekly or even maybe a few times a week. Is more my goal here. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you're having a great day. Bye.